Hey y'all, this is a super special time of the year for me. I am happy to celebrate the 2-year birthday anniversary of my book coming out, How to Eat to Change How You Drink. And she's 2 today, so I want to give her a little shout out and share with you some updates of where her and I have been over the last 2 years, the different people that we've interacted with, and the things that we've done. So in this video today, I'm going to share with you more about my journey through the last 2 years and really what has come of this book, How to Eat to Change How You Drink. Come with me to visit my book at Barnes & Noble. So first I want to start with telling a story, because if you track the timeline, you will know that I got sober in 2021. This book came out in late 2023. It takes about 2 years for a book to be published, which means I wrote this book. Really, I started this book in my first year of sobriety. It's amazing to look back on it now because I realize how much has changed on my journey. I realize how much I've changed when I look back and read the book. But really, how much can change for you too when you change your life and you remove alcohol. One of the things that has been so important for me to remember is that this wouldn't be possible without sobriety. And the only reason this is possible is because of my journey in going alcohol free. Now, I am someone who had wanted to write a book for a long time, had kind of always been putting this on my yearly goals list. I had no idea what I was going to write a book about. In 2021, when I decided to eliminate alcohol, I thought it was the end of the world. I thought it was the end of my life. I thought, forget it, I'll never have fun again. I'll never go on dates again. How will I get through all of these situations in life without alcohol? And the reality is that when I removed alcohol, that one barrier helped open me up to so many other things. So even though I lost alcohol, I gained so much, including the ability to work toward my dreams, the ability to move more toward what felt right for me. And again, it wouldn't be possible without my sobriety. And I share that with you because I know that I used to feel like there was such a block in my life, like I couldn't move things forward. I wanted to do all these things I wanted to do and achieve and be. And I never prioritized any of it because I was prioritizing alcohol. So if you're listening and that is familiar, that story is familiar to you, this is a reminder that even though it's scary, it might actually be because some of your greatest dreams are waiting for you on the other side of alcohol.
Great, okay. Okay.
Give us a spin.
So I want to give you a little bit of a behind the scenes story of what inspired the book, what kind of was going through my mind when I came up with the idea to write a book. And I completed my doctorate degree in nutrition in 2019, a few years before getting sober. And I was a teacher for a university in their integrative health program, teaching nutrition classes. And we were each asked in our department if we wanted to contribute a chapter to a textbook on integrative approaches to substance use disorders. Let me grab it. So in 2020, I authored a chapter in this book, Complementary and Integrative Approaches to Substance Use Disorders. And I wrote the chapter on nutrition and supplementation for substance use disorders. It's chapter 2 in this book. And the reason why I said yes to doing this is because I hadn't been published in anything yet. And I knew deep down that I was struggling with substance use. I was struggling with alcohol abuse. And here I am drinking wine and writing this chapter about how to use food and nutrition, my area of expertise, to support overcoming substance use disorders. This book actually published the same month that I got sober in June of 2021. I did not get sober because this book came out. However, it was really inspirational on my journey when I looked back and I thought, that's really interesting. I was able to utilize some of the tools that I had written about and researched for this book on my own sobriety journey. So there were certain supplements that I used. There were certain ways that I would structure my meals to support overcoming cravings. And it was September 2021. I was 3 months sober and I had an epiphany moment where I thought, I need to write a book on this. I need to write a whole book on this. And it was a Tuesday night. It was 10 o'clock at night. Meanwhile, I have no idea how to read a book. I don't know how to get a book deal. And what did I do? I picked up trusty Google. This was before AI, thankfully. I picked up trusty Google and I said, Book Agents NYC. And I got a list of a couple of book agents in New York City. Then I Googled, how do I pitch a book agent? And I got the information, you have to write a query letter. Great, how do I write a query letter? So it's 10 o'clock at night and here I am ravenously typing about this idea that I had. And sure enough, my email made it in front of a book agent who represents another woman who wrote a book in the sobriety space. And I didn't know that when I had pitched this woman, but it turned out she was really interested in representing someone who had another idea in the sobriety world, but also from a unique perspective. See, there's a lot of memoirs and stories out there about sobriety and different women's journeys, men's journeys, a lot of different approaches, but none of them had come from a nutrition perspective. And that was really where my book was unique. It was originally titled How to Eat Not to Drink, and we changed it to How to Eat to Change How You Drink so that it could be open and maybe interesting to people who don't want to fully stop drinking, but they do want support in navigating this journey. So through the process, I worked with this amazing book agent to work on a book proposal. We pitched it to 25 different publishers, and we had 3 or 4 different publishers who were interested, and they went into a bidding war, and ta-da, in early 2022, I signed a deal to write this book, How to Eat to Change How You Drink. So off I went to Bali. I decided I was going to start writing on the beach in Bali. What a wonderful idea. Well, I got to Bali. I wasn't writing. I was running around, enjoying myself, having fun until I broke my foot and had to come home from Bali and literally sit down and start writing this book. So the universe has a funny way of making things come to fruition. The process of leading up to the book's publication was really challenging for me. The couple of months prior to the book coming out, so I would say the fall of 2023, I had a really, really overwhelming time coping and grappling with the idea of this book coming out into the world and people judging it and criticizing it and Amazon reviews, because this book is my story in a lot of ways. And in chapter 2, I do tell a breakdown of my story, how my drinking kind of escalated, more about that. And I was really, really uncomfortable that this was going out into the world. So I had a really challenging time when it published. The day that it came out, I actually, I think I cried like 8 or 9 times that day. I was super overwhelmed. Thankfully, I was with some great friends in New York who really carried me through that day, went with me to Barnes & Noble to sign the books. And it was one of those things where you feel like you should be happy, but you feel really overwhelmed, you feel really scared, you feel really uncertain. And that's the thing with these big dreams, with our big goals, is it can be scary, it can be overwhelming. But looking back 2 years later, 2 years after the book has come out, I have changed so much. My perspectives have changed so much. When I write another book, I will do it differently next time to give myself more grace and peace. It was a really overwhelming journey, and I'm so grateful for it. And I'm really grateful for you. If you've read the book, if you are thinking about reading the book or purchasing a copy, it is available at Barnes & Noble, on Amazon, wherever books are sold. And it really is part story, part memoir of my experience as an expert in health and wellness, an expert in nutrition, but also at the same time a drinker, because there's this long history of alcohol is good for us. Alcohol has health benefits. And rewriting that story for myself, really overcoming that narrative for myself of alcohol as a health food, really overcoming alcohol as a social tool. And in this book, I really share more about my protocols that I've used with hundreds and hundreds of clients to help them overcome alcohol with a nutrition-based approach. So I hope you enjoy this little behind the scenes look at the book and the last 2 years where we have been. And I just want to thank you for being here. None of this would be possible without you, my friends, my family, my followers, those of you who have kind of stayed in the journey with me. I really love you, and I'm really grateful that you're here. And cheers to many more years in sobriety and in living our healthiest and most transparent lives.